Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Studio Series Gamer Edition 09 War for Cybertron Autobot Ratchet. And I will start out by saying that I was kind of really looking forward to this figure. Before it was even announced, I've always wanted a War for Cybertron Autobot Ratchet. I like his design. I've always liked Ratchet in Cybertronian forms. I know there was a third-party figure. I never got my hands on it. But then this got announced, and I'll say, starting out, based on the previous Gamer Edition toys, I wasn't that excited about him. But I still wanted an Autobot Ratchet, so I picked him up. And then I got him, and he's awesome. So we're going to start out on the basics. He rolls just fine. Per Studio Series, he is wider than his base. I think they're getting rid of these backgrounds entirely, which, if I'm being honest, I'd be okay with it. I don't get a lot of value from the backdrop dioramas, but it does really bother me that they're changing like the hallmark thing of Studio Series. It felt like it was like, hey, we're going to be as screen accurate as possible. And then they kind of stopped doing that. Now they're getting rid of the backgrounds. And it's like, okay, well, what makes this different from just regular Generations? But enough about that. Let's talk about Ratchet, because this one is a good one. We can take off his axe. It clips onto these two tabs, or three tabs up top. His gun sits on his butt. Can take that off. Starting out, not a lot of paint on the back. I do find that annoying. This is a toy that I'm definitely going to get the War for Cybertron decal set from Repro Labels. Like I can already see the bright pinks going on here, some light vents here, that sort of thing. I think it's going to look really good. Doing up the wheels again. The paint on the wheels is fine, but again, I just want a little more neon. We've got Ratchet's little symbol here. I think it's cute. If you notice, my paint is kind of fucked up, which is unfortunate. But up top, things look good. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it a lot. I like this pearlescent sheen in the red that really catches the light. Whereas this is more of it feels, I mean, it's glossy, but it's not pearlescent. So he's essentially got three paint color apps on him. He's got like this brightish red here, this pearlescent red, and then this like gray black. But it is enough color to make him visually interesting, even if I could always do with a little more paint. I think he looks fantastic. And this is a Voyager, but in vehicle mode, it's not that big. If we're comparing him to another Studio Series figure, I mean, we know that the Barricade Soldier mold is very big. For a deluxe, things fold like out in this mode, whereas on him, things fold in. But here's how they look together. And I kind of like that in alt mode, they're about the same size. He is big. If we look at the original Fall of Cybertron War for Cybertron toys, you know, we've got Jazz here. He is nice and chunky next to Jazz. And again, outside of the Ratchet and Ironhide mold, the one I want most of all is going to be an updated Jazz, which hopefully we get next year. Taking these guys away, the last alt mode I want to compare him to is Bumblebee Ratchet. This is, I believe, the second most recent Studio Series Ratchet. We got a Studio Series 86 Ratchet, but it was the same thing as Ironhide, and I don't think I even picked one up. I thought it was fine. I mean, I'm sure it's good. It's a good Voyager. But here's how they look together. And here, I think it helps sell how big this Ratchet is. And this Ratchet is my current Ratchet. I really like these alt mode designs. I like how unique they are. They're both very Cybertronian, very alien. They don't look much like ambulance vehicles or anything like that, but they still look really neat. And I dig them both. They do very different things. I mean, here you can see, right, Deluxe versus Voyager, what we're talking about in terms of size. I will say I do like this white much better. This colder, it's got a blue tone to it versus this warmer white. I wish that this toy had this color plastic on it. I think it would make the reds and blacks pop even more. But still, it is neat to see them next to each other. For transformation, it is very satisfying. We're going to start out by pulling up the roof of his car mode. These two pieces come up. they come back and we can separate them out. They're on nice little hinges, not ball joints, which I do want to point this out specifically and appreciate it. When you have multiple joints that need to line up, like there's, you know, a bend here as well as a swivel, the fact that it's not on a ball joint means that I'm controlling it in two distinct axes rather than having a 360 degree of motion, which makes things line up way easier. This would be painful if it was a ball joint. I'm glad it's not. With that open, we can come in and we can separate out on the sides. Oh no, we actually got to come on the bottom. Things do lock in nicely. There are tabs here that open up there. That lets us separate out these legs on either side. There are tabs on the back that we've opened up. And then these two knees actually locked into place, which I appreciate. So there, as well as here, things separate to give us his legs. And again, it's just a lot of little locks that are very satisfying to connect in place. On to kind of folding up these panels, we're going to fold this section in nicely. Then on a double joint, we're going to bring the whole section in like so, folding this piece in, and that lets us fold down this, what was this under panel piece, and it comes down and tabs in here to make a nice, I got something misaligned somewhere. Maybe it's there we go. Then this comes down and can tab in nicely to form kind of the side of his leg. We've got this foot down here. We can also open that up. There's a little ankle tilt there. Same thing on this side. We're going to lock that in place. We're going to fold down this panel, which was tabbed here. Fold this in again on the double joint, folding this piece in, letting us bring that shin down, and again, getting these tabs and slots lined up like so. Now, on the legs, we flip them around 180, and then we're going to flip the whole waist around 180. And there's his lower legs done. Pretty simple transformation. Up top, we've got a tab here, tabs here, and side tabs. We're just going to lift things up like so, and those come out and out of the way nicely like that. Then on the bottom, we have the arms are tabbed in at this location, as well as tabbed in at these locations, folding things out. There goes his arm. That's okay. It's a 5mm peg as part of that weapon swapping gimmick that they have for this line. Bringing this arm up, it does click into place nicely, folding down our shoulders like so and like so. We can bring down this chest. It folds down here. The head will pop out automatically as we bring things down and click them into place, rotating the arms out of the way. And if his shoulders seem a little bare, that's because these are actually his shoulder armors, which help fill out his silhouette. It's, you know, not the most subtle thing. It's got these like red armatures as a result, but it looks pretty good. I kind of dig it. The armature kind of going from his collarbone to his shoulder, and it keeps things out and out of the way. We're going to fold in these door sections, and then this whole thing comes in into a backpack, which is a backpack, but I think it results in a nicer moment. Oh, I did forget. There we go. We can reveal our Autobot symbol. I do like the tiny Autobot symbol reveal at the end of it. And here is Ratchet. And sculpt-wise, I think this is a pretty great looking robot mode. We've got a nice Ratchet head there, very War for Cybertron. I dig it. A nice protruding chin, that sort of thing. The arms, in terms of articulation, we got a waggle on the head. The arms, because of these shoulder joints, you'd think they'd be limited, but this does have a little bit of impressive engineering. It does let you get out of the way, so you can get the arm up and you kind of press the shoulder armor back down around it, but you do get 360 there. You can come out and you go past, you know, you got to break the sculpt up a little bit when you go out past here, but you can get out there. And I did think that this armor piece could fold out, but it only folds in, it looks like. We do have bicep swivel there. We do have elbow bend about 90 degrees. It does go backwards, but 90 degrees forwards. We do have wrist swivel. If we get things down, we do have a waist swivel, obviously due to transformation. And again, another really nice piece of this sculpt. Look at the angle and the cut on his thigh, his groin, comparing like his crotch centerpiece to where his hip is. The whole thing can get out of its own way. The cut is really, really nice to allow him to do the full splits while still maintaining his thigh armor. I appreciate that a lot. We do have knee swivel. We do have a less than 90 boot cut because of how much bulk is behind his leg. We do have, like I showed before, ankle tilt kind of goes out. But I do want to talk about these feet. If I've got a complaint on this figure, and you know, it's not perfect, no figure is, as I noticed my backpack has kind of popped out. But besides the looseness on the backpack, the joints themselves are pretty tight, but these feet, they want to, like, if you notice the angle that the feet and the legs are, they want to force his profile back so that if I try and get him standing straight, he's really tilted back. Versus where his position is. It's not the end of the world and it's not awful, but it does mean I have to be mindful. If I try and fit the toes down, he really starts leaning back. So if you're like got him in a you know, profile to run or something, tilting forward isn't a big deal, but tilting back you need to be aware of. Other than that, I mean, I think it's just a solid Voyager. It feels good in hand. The backpack, these tabs could be a little tighter, and it is simple enough to tighten them with feature floor polish. But other than that, I think things just work, and it feels good. Again, no new colors in this version, in this mode, but a little more red to break up the white does help his appearance out a lot. I dig this Ratchet a lot. Now, the other thing I want to praise this figure for, I've got a cool Energon axe. It splits apart, so we can jam the handle in this way, and we still have this like little spiky bit. That's fine. You know, you can hold it a couple different ways, but this gun does two things, and I appreciate that it does both of them. One, if you don't want to do the arm gimmick, you can just hold it as a gun, and it's his cool like sculpt. It's got room for an effect piece. If we bring this forward, and there, I got to make sure that I'm like rocking him forward. But this gun can theoretically hold an effect piece. I guess this is a complaint that these prongs are close enough together that I can't actually get the 5mm peg in there, but it still holds the effect perfectly fine and very, very tight. But the other thing is, this is the gimmick of the line that I have not enjoyed on any of the figures so far, that you can, if you don't want to do that, if you want to use the gimmick, you take his arm off, as I demonstrated before, 5mm peg. One, I like the way this is integrated. If you notice, his forearm doesn't seem oddly skinny. It clips like over that 5mm peg, which helps out a lot. But two, if we take this down and we take his arm, we can stick our arm in the back like so. And other toys did this back clip, but on this version, we can hide it with his backpack. His backpack serves a purpose. It is a literal backpack that hides the extra arm piece. It's so important to me that it does that. I really, really like it. I won't stop saying that's good because it's awesome. We do have then a 5mm port here that can hook on. If you try and go this way, it jams into the wheel, but you can go sideways here. And there, again, it, like, because of the size of the weapon and the shape of the weapon, it fills out the arm. It looks much more like it's been transformed rather than just this skinny anemic gun kind of jutting out of his bicep. This is the best implementation of the Gamer Edition gimmick so far. That to me is huge. As you know, I appreciate good engineering and good play pattern. The fact that they got this right on this guy is a huge bonus in my opinion. That being said, it also helps that he just looks really nice. Again, if I'm showing him against my now very outdated Fall of Cybertron Jazz, whose knees I just have not been able to save. I keep future floor polishing them, but I think there's just not enough plastic in the Ratchets anymore. But here's how they look together, and Ratchet looks so good together next to his little buddy Jazz. I really, really want a Fall of Cybertron Jazz so that I can, or War for Cybertron Jazz so that I can have him displayed with a new version, but they look great together. His fellow Gamer Edition toys that I do have, here are the deluxes, and here we can see kind of the difference in size, where he's like, yeah, so much of these guys is their backpack, but so much of his mask becomes his robot mode. I don't mind paying, I recognize this is a small Voyager, but the engineering improvement, similar to what I said on Thursday's video about Megatron, the engineering improvement is so much nicer that to me this justifies that extra $10. Just like I would have preferred if the Transformers 1 Optimus Prime and Megatron were Voyagers, even if they were this size, if they just had better engineering, to me that's worth it. I recognize it may not be the case for everyone, but for me that is an important part of the value. But here is how they look together. And last but not least, I want to show it against my current Ratchet. Here's the Bumblebee Ratchet. Again, Deluxe versus Voyager. Studio Series has always skewed on the small side, which is where I'm comfortable calling this Ratchet, you know, a proper Voyager class. They both have their own unique strengths. Both of their transformations are really interesting. They both have unique interpretations of the G1 Ratchet design with a more Cybertron-y feel. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of these toys. They're great. Again, showing them right next to each other, I do wish this was the colder white plastic, but that's okay. I'm just really happy that I've got this Ratchet, and I'm torn now. I'm really torn. This video is not a giveaway. You probably saw it on the thumbnail. It's not a giveaway because I am going to keep both. I just need to figure out how to do it in my collection. I think I'm going to try and I'm going to look. Maybe there's repro labels that makes one of these another character. That would be awesome because I think you can never have enough medic robots. And I've got like Ratchet repaints out the butt. I've got that like weird blue Prime one. I've got, you know, I've got other ones. So essentially, I'm just going to add another medical bot. I think if I'm thinking through things out loud, this is going to be my Ratchet because I've wanted this design in toy form for so long, and it ended up being so good. This guy I'm going to try and repaint or relabel as a different character. We'll have to see. But that is it for the look at Transformers Generation Studio Series Gamer Edition 09 War for Cybertron Ratchet. I recognize this went on a little long. One, because I just couldn't stop gushing because I do like this guy. Not a perfect figure. The feet need some fixing. What I'd like to do essentially is set it so that like if there's a way to get it so that the neutral position on the foot, like the hinge, if there was a way to just rock this forward and keep it in a more forward position, and then I can tilt things back. That's the biggest complaint. The transformation feels good. The toy looks good. It does the gimmick well, and the alt mode is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. If you've been on the fence about Studio Series Gamer Edition and none of the others appeal to you, this is the one that might sell you on it. I don't think I recommended any of the others. Barricade maybe and Starscream like were okay. The others were like fine, but this Ratchet felt awesome to play with, and I'm really happy I have him in my collection. Might be my strongest recommendation in a while. I guess out of new molds, because the previous toys that were repaints, you know, didn't count. But yeah, Studio Series Gamer Edition 09 Autobot Ratchet, easy recommendation. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!